What up? Sknightnation, this your boy, Stevie Knight. But to get on one of these things, you feel me, to watch. Night watch, man. Got a dope conversation today, man. This video came across the feed. Got my attention, so getting it to y'all as well, bro. No Diddy. I've addressed this topic a few times, man. Very relatable on this here channel. How America is using rap, hip hop to destroy black lives. You know what I mean? It's not a newer epidemic or a newer problem, man. This is a conversation that has been ongoing for quite some time. But it's never too late to discuss it, man. So just want to see what the Black Stories Untold has to say in regards to this, man. You know what I mean? Just bringing attention to an interesting, relevant conversation. You know what I'm saying? So before we do, Pete the Drip, shop StevieKnight.com. Check out my Patreon, my Night Watch. Everything we do here, we do over there. Butter Freeski, no ads, do it first. And we got a bunch of other ish going on over there as well, man. If you don't know, pull up, find out. You know what I'm talking about? It's cheap, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's free. Everything we post here is free. We got a bunch of other shit over there that it ain't free, but it ain't expensive at all, dog. Dope vibes. But without further ado, let's see what we talking about, dog. It's gonna be the hip hop, the prison pipeline, and just the culture. Culture, shit. Need to separate black and black culture, bro. Don't even call it black culture. Just call it toxic culture, bro. It's what holding black folks back is black culture. Which hip-hop is goddamn it ain't even hip-hop. It's the motherfuckers, the puppeteers out here. You know what I'm saying? Setting everybody up for the okie doke. Brainwashing and indoctrinating weak minds. But let's let them talk about it. Let's get it.
In 2023, famous rapper Ice Cube went on a podcast and dropped a bombshell that no one was expecting.
Okay, let's take rap music.
Let's take it.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons. So
Literally the same people?
literally the same people.
When a hip-hop legend who's been in the game for over 3 decades, when someone who helped create the very culture we're talking about, when Ice Cube himself drops knowledge like that, you better stop what you're doing and listen.
I wonder how that makes him feel now, though. You know what I mean? Knowing what NWA was more than likely responsible for the facilitating of a bunch of brothers in the prison because of their engaging in gangster rap, dog. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of motherfuckers shot. Got a lot of motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, put in prison, just perpetuating their whole lifestyle or whatnot. But he a young pup back then. He only knew what he knew, being a product of his environment, bro. But, like, I wonder, and he may have been posed this question. I'm sure he has, man. But, like, would you do anything different now? You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing what was going on behind the scenes back then and how you was just being used as a engine to put peeps in prison. Would you do things differently? Would you have still sold those records? Would you have still dropped those records? Would you have still rapped about what you was rapping about? You know what I'm saying? Because the glorification of black culture, you know what I'm saying, gangster music and all that, bro, did not shed black folks in a good light. Generally, you know what I mean? Not to say everything they said was negative, man. I'm not saying that at all, right? So I don't want to get in their fucking feelings thinking I'm just shitting on everything they put out. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm just saying objectively, no, generally, right? You know, they were a proponent of gangster rap. And gangster rap did a lot of bad for black community, black men specifically, man. So I just would want to see how he would respond to a question like that. It's interesting to me. If I knew now what I could have known back then, it would have had me looking at how I look at life now. I would have, you know, hip hop wouldn't have had such a strong hold on me, knowing all the bullshit going on. Hell, I probably would have created more doorways and opportunities for me to dibble and dabble into other things that would have been more productive for me. You know what I mean? It's just interesting, dog, because it ain't. We can sit here and get mad at the rappers and get mad at the fact that, you know, there is a cloud over black folks that are influenced by black culture, man, but it ain't black folks holding black folks back. It's the motherfuckers puppeteering this whole shit that's holding black folks back. So once we lift that fucking those blinders up, bro, you know what I'm saying, we really see what the fuck going on.
Knowledge like that, you better stop what you're doing and listen. Because what he revealed wasn't some wild conspiracy theory cooked up by internet trolls. This was coming from a man who'd been behind the scenes, who'd seen the machine work, who'd lived this industry from the inside out.
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. So, you know, it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word.
Hell no, bro. It's a conflict of interest. It really ain't a conflict, bro. It's all orchestrated, bro. They know what the fuck they doing.
Records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry. This to me is in somewhat, you know, some social engineering going on here to make sure those prisons stay full. Now,
those words should have terrified every black person in America. They didn't force you to rap about murder and drugs. They just made sure those were the only songs that saw the light of day. And Ice Cube wasn't alone. Dame Dash, co-founder of Roc-A-Fella Records, the man who helped build Jay-Z's empire, he heard Cube's words and said,
"It's true. It's obvious."
These are the architects of hip-hop culture telling us we'd been played. Ice Cube calls...
Is this a fucking DJ Vlad AI voiceover, bro? Shit sound like Vlad TV.
It's obvious.
These are the architects of hip-hop culture telling us we'd been played. Ice Cube calls it social engineering, a deliberate plan to make sure the prisons stayed full, to make sure young black men kept walking into those cells like lambs to the slaughter. And the weapon they used against us? Our own music and culture. Today we're going to expose exactly how America took the most powerful black art form of the last 50 years and turned it into a recruitment tool for the prison.
Really want to dive down them rabbit holes, the goddamn CIA introducing crack to the black community back in the day, dog. Shit gets deep, bro.
System, how they stole our respectability, our dignity, and our future. Because if Ice Cube was right, and all the evidence suggests he was, then every violent rap song, every video glorifying prison culture, every lyric about selling drugs and rivals, it had all been part of a master plan to destroy black lives in America. But Ice Cube's revelation in 2023 wasn't the first time someone tried to blow the whistle on this conspiracy. 11 years earlier, something happened that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. On April 24, 2012, at exactly 1:30 p.m., someone using an anonymous Gmail account under the fake alias John Smith would send an email that would change everything. According to this letter, sometime in the early 1990s, this person had been invited to a closed-door meeting at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. He described himself as a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. The meeting had about 25 to 30 people, mostly familiar faces from the music business, but there was also a small group of unfamiliar faces, men in suits who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize with anyone else. One of these suited men stood up and made an announcement that left the room stunned. He told them that the companies they worked for in the music industry had been building privately owned prisons. Since these prisons were government funded, the more prisoners they housed, the more money they made. And here's where it gets truly sinister. Their job, as music industry executives, was to market music that promoted criminal behavior. Rap music was specifically chosen as the weapon of choice. The letter soon spread across the internet like wildfire. Hip-hop blogs picked it up. Social media exploded with theories. But here's the thing, whether this specific meeting happened exactly as described or not, the pattern it revealed was undeniable. And most importantly, other industry insiders started coming forward with their own stories that backed up the letter's claims. Now, before you dismiss this as some far-fetched conspiracy theory, let me tell you something that might change your mind. The United States government has actually used music to manipulate and control people before, multiple times, and we have the receipts. Between 2009 and 2012, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, launched a secret operation to use Cuban hip-hop artists to undermine President Raul Castro's government. USAID started recruiting Cuban musicians for what they disguised as cultural initiatives, but their real goal was to boost these rappers' visibility and create a fan movement that would challenge the Cuban government. They even paid $155,000 to underwrite an arts and music festival. But the festival wasn't about celebrating culture, it was about psychological warfare. Their secret mission was to seed the minds of festival organizers with new ideas and get them to send high-impact messages to audiences that would turn them against their own government. Of course, USAID wasn't dumb enough to do this directly. They used contractors and shell companies to hide their involvement. But when the Cuban government figured out what was happening, the whole operation fell apart. And let me remind you guys, this was official US government policy, using hip-hop as a tool of war. But Cuba was just the beginning. As it turns out, the CIA has been using music for decades to achieve their political goals. They funded a Russian composer named Nicholas Nabokov to mount exhibitions and stage concerts across Europe, all designed to combat the appeal of communism. They hired multiple artists to fight communism through their songs. The CIA also got their hands deep into jazz music. They sponsored Louis Armstrong's tours in Europe and Africa, turning America's greatest black musicians into unwitting ambassadors for American foreign policy. Dizzy Gillespie joined the first State Department-organized tour in 1956. Dave Brubeck went on a 12-concert tour of the USSR in 1985. So if they were willing to use Cuban hip-hop to try to topple Castro's government, and if they used jazz legends like Louis Armstrong as tools of foreign policy, if they spent decades and millions of dollars manipulating music to achieve political goals, then tell me, what makes you think they wouldn't use hip-hop to achieve their domestic goals? What makes you think they draw the line at using our own culture against us? The precedent.
Oh, is anybody clapping back at this? Right. It's definitely not talked about enough, but I mean, there's enough information out there for you to corroborate anything, specifically in regards to hip hop, bro. Hip hop is definitely a tool used to send motherfuckers to prison. Keep baking that bread, bro. You know what I'm saying? Well, like I am not even want to make it about a black thing, even though it's specifically is, it directly is, man. Because it's funny, right? With as popular and polarizing as hip hop is, and how it's like a direct descendant from the black community, bro. Like, white folks purchase hip hop the most, but they're not influenced the way black people are by it, which is due to the harsh environments a lot of black folks live in, man. You know what I'm saying? The whole perpetuation of these horrific lifestyles, because a lot of these rappers are coming from these harsh areas and just rapping about their lifestyle. You know what I mean? So it causes relatability and it glorifies it, and then you have what you have here now. Or not the main issue. The main solution to all this, man, is like, regardless of what color you are, where you are, what you listening to, just don't be a fucking sheep. It ain't that damn serious. Don't ever let something else influence you enough to dictate your actions outside of you, bro. Right? But you can see this shit's been going on from the beginning of time, because most men and women are sheep, easily controlled. Right? I mean, and then, you know, a lot of the times is, even if you want to clap back or push back, you know, you get ostracized or exiled for not following the trends that most are initiated by government entities any fucking way, whether it be music, media, social media, news, all this shit is orchestrated by elites, government entities, the pharmaceutical chairman, the whole cabal of these motherfuckers out here just eating off the mouse that they're controlling in this fucking maze. All right, and it should just be coming upon you to do your due diligence to see outside of what the fuck is going on, man. And I'm gonna be interested, peeping the comments to this one. This isn't my first time addressing this topic on the channel, man. But there's a bunch of folks lost in the sauce, clearly, bro, because society has never been as far as the Western world is concerned, has never been as much as lost in the sauce as we are today, with all the bullshit, degenerate, nefarious things that are meant to distract people from what the fuck is going on. That's all done with intention. It's all done with intention to keep you distracted, following the motherfucking laser light like you a fucking cat, distracting from what the fuck is going on, right? And there's never been a time where people need to come to terms and realize what the hell is going on right in front of you before it's too late and you're getting smacked in the mouth with, this monster that the elites is building behind the scenes, man. But I'm getting not off the rails, but much more deep into the whole conspiracy of it all. But it ain't no conspiracy to me, bro. But at the end of the day, just don't let nothing outside yourself dictate your terms, how you see the world, how you understand things. Damn sure not a motherfucking rapper who could care less about you any motherfucking way. I don't give a damn what the hell they talking about and how you relate to it. You don't know these motherfuckers, right? So at the end of the day, if music is controlling you that point, you that emotionally tied to this rapper or what the fuck they saying, bro, just know at the end of the day, none of these fools give two fucks about you. All you are is a number. All you are is someone to capitalize off of, bro. So it ain't even that fucking deep. Just treat music as music is. Recreation, good time. It ain't life. Take care of your life. Do we need to go into any more of this, though?
It was already set. The playbook was already written. All they had to do was turn it inward. But the government's manipulation of music wasn't just about foreign policy. They had been targeting black artists specifically for decades, long before hip-hop was even born. And once you understand this history, Ice Cube's claims start to make a lot more sense. The FBI's COINTELPRO program, which we've covered extensively in our videos on the Black Panther Party, didn't just target political activists. They also systematically surveilled black musicians who they saw as threats to the status quo. They investigated jazz pianist Nat King Cole, monitoring his performances and personal associations. Hell, they followed Jimi Hendrix so closely that the FBI compiled detailed reports on his drug use, his relationships, and his political statements. You see, the government understood something that many people still don't. Black musicians had always been more than entertainers. They were cultural leaders who could shape public opinion and inspire social movements. And according
that's exactly what was highlighting, bruh. Just should make motherfuckers feel minuscule, make people feel small just hearing that, right? And it's a fact, bro, when you got Cardi B's out here talking about politics and people are actually giving that shit merit, giving that shit attention. And it goes to what I was just saying. These fools don't give two fucks about you. They don't know nothing. They puppets being puppeteered any goddamn way, right? But black folks, for some reason, are the most easily controlled and the most susceptible to treating artists and rappers and musicians like gods. Why is that? I say that conversation for another fucking day. Regardless how the fuck you feel about it, it's not a good thing, right? It's not good, which was a big reason why, black culture is the way it is. It's poisonous and as toxic as it is, because we've been so easily controlled and just turned into this bullshit, right? The sooner motherfuckers can wake up, the better you be out of the matrix, man. Fortunately enough, now is that social media has given artists the ability not to have to rely on record execs and labels and all that, man. Right? Which is going to put more money in your pocket as an independent artist because you're not switching hands so many times. You are the source. You control the music you put out to the fucking people. When you're dealing with these execs and the industry or whatnot, money changes hands too much. You signing deals and signing your fucking life away, 360s and bullshit. Like, you may not have the machine behind you to scale and, magnify your presence around the world, bro. But fuck that. Fuck that. That shit's a liability, man. And shit, 9 times out of 10, all the artists out here, I'll say 10 out of 10, in some form of fashion, bro, they realize the fucked up things that they're doing for themselves and society as a whole, bro. When you up here with the presence of a Jay-Z or a Beyonce or a Drake, hell, or a Kendrick, right? It's always some evil, sadistic bullshit going on behind the scenes where, the listeners of your music are being victimized towards because they're too dumb to make decisions for themselves. And that's what it is. Easily controlled. Pawns. Sheep. Right? You do exactly what the fuck you say. Watch them. All we gotta do is say this and watch how these motherfuckers react. You know what I mean? And black folks are the most susceptible to a certain sect of black folks are the most susceptible to responding to this intended stimuli.
To white America, that made them dangerous. So when hip-hop emerged in the late 1970s and 1980s, this surveillance intensified dramatically. In 1989, after NWA released The Police, the FBI did something unprecedented. They sent an official letter to NWA's record label, Priority Records, expressing their displeasure with the song. Think about that. The federal government was so threatened by a rap song that they felt the need to officially respond. Of course, they didn't stop with NWA. The FBI launched thorough investigations into Tupac Shakur, tracking his movements, monitoring his associates, building cases against him. They did the same thing to Biggie, Wu-Tang, and countless of other artists. By the early 2000s, this surveillance had become so systematic that it earned a name, the Hip-Hop Police. The NYPD created secret dossiers on rappers, tracking who they associated with, what cars they drove, what clubs they went to. Detective Derek Parker, who helped create these files, later admitted they would pressure venues to cancel rap concerts and shows. Think about what that means.
That's funny because there's a monster they started, bro. They got to come back and clean that shit up, bro. You let that shit get out of hand. You wanted motherfuckers, you wanted to treat it like guys, dog. They guys now, bro. It's hard to check them guys now, though.
We're violating rappers' First Amendment rights, shutting down their ability to perform and make money, all because they didn't like the content of their music. And this targeting continues today. In 2019, the NYPD sent a letter to Rolling Loud Festival organizers listing 5 rappers, including Casanova, and warning that if these artists performed, there would be a higher risk of violence. Today, instead of targeting political activists, they use more subtle methods to control the black public image. Now let's follow the money, because that's where this conspiracy gets really interesting. If Ice Cube was right about the same people owning record labels and prisons, then we should be able to trace those connections. And guess what? We can. The 3 major record labels that dominated hip-hop for decades were Warner Records, Sony Music Group, and Universal Music Group. These companies controlled what music got promoted, what artists got signed, and what messages reached the masses.
Which means they control reality.
You have the 2 largest private prison companies in America, CoreCivic and GEO Group. These corporations own more private prisons than anyone else in the country, and they've built their entire business model around keeping those facilities packed with inmates. BlackRock and Vanguard, 2 of the world's largest investment management firms, were among the biggest shareholders. At the same time, these exact same companies held major positions in the record labels. Now here's what made this especially suspicious. Private prisons operate on a simple business model. The more prisoners they house, the more money they make from government. In fact, many private prison contracts included something called occupancy guarantees, requirements that the prisons maintain at least 90% full at all times. Think about what that means. If the prison population dropped too low, they'd lose money. They had a financial incentive to make sure people kept getting arrested and sentenced to long prison terms. Now, some people tried to debunk this by saying that BlackRock and Vanguard were just investment management companies. They didn't actually own these businesses.
Fuck that. What's bro's name? What's bro's name? The fucking what's his name? CEO of Larry Fink. Larry Fink's probably the most powerful man in the goddamn world, bro. Most powerful man in the motherfucking world, dog.
They just managed other people's money invested in them. But here's the thing. When you manage trillions of dollars in investments, when you're one of the largest shareholders in dozens of major corporations, you have influence. You have a voice in boardroom decisions. You have the power to shape corporate strategy. And if you're making money from both sides of the equation, from the music that creates criminals and from the prisons that house those criminals, then you have every incentive to make sure that cycle continues. In the 1960s, when Black America was fighting for civil rights, our leaders looked like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X.
Things have changed.
Were black men in suits fighting for freedom with dignity and intelligence. They commanded respect through excellence. They spoke with purpose and power.
Bruh, that's nasty work too, man. That's nasty work, bruh. Right. That was a real threat. That was a real threat. These intellectual, articulate black gentlemen that highlight the black community this way, they couldn't have that. They couldn't have that, bruh. And that's prior to the drug game, gangster rap and all that, dog. And it was an abrupt shift. Late 60s, early 70s, when the crack epidemic took off. And then the abrupt shift from the black folks. I ain't gonna say idolizing, even though Malcolm X and MLK were idols, people were idolizing, but rightfully so, man. These motherfuckers are damn near the presidents of Black USA, right? Right, these are people that it would make sense for black folks to admire these gentlemen the way that they did because of the work they was doing for the black community, right? But that was a threat. The racists were scared back then, right? Feds drop that dope, get black folks killing each other, and then get black folks to idolize the NWAs, the Pacs, the Bigs, the Hoes. You know what I'm saying? Now we at the fucking Young Thugs and NBA Young Boys, and it gets more degenerate and more degenerate and more degenerate and more degenerate, having these degenerates being idolized whether they are, dog. Whew. That's nasty work, man. That's nasty work. And then the powers that be ain't scared of these motherfuckers. The Young Thugs and the Hovers, they all on contract anyway. They all getting paid any motherfucking way. You know what I'm saying? But they're not a threat. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they were threats. Get them out of here, dog. Get them out of here.
When white America looked at them, they had to acknowledge our humanity, our intelligence,
facts,
our right to equality. Fast forward to the 1990s and 2000s, and something had fundamentally changed.
Yep.
Hip-hop had flipped the script entirely.
Made us like a bunch of fucking dignity, monkeys.
It started glorifying criminality. Instead of, I have a dream, I got 99 problems. Instead of fighting the system, we started celebrating being trapped in it. Black men went from wearing suits and demanding respect to wearing chains and glorifying prison culture. And somehow, we were convinced this was keeping it real. But here's what keeping it real actually meant. It meant accepting the worst stereotypes about ourselves and making them our identity. It meant choosing trap houses over college classrooms. It meant glorifying baby mama drama over building stable families. It meant making violence and criminality seem cool to our children. Now, let's be clear about something important. We have plenty of stable, thriving black families in America.
All right, man. That's dope. I like that talk, bro. You know what I'm saying? Black culture. That shit needs to get eradicated, dog. I ain't gonna say black culture, bro. But the black culture I'm speaking about is the culture that hip-hop has molded, right? Just say, like the ghetto culture. Get rid of that shit, bro, and bring real black culture back. You know what I'm saying? the culture that was prominent in the black community during the fucking 60s, you know what I'm saying? During Black Wall Street, during nuclear families. It sounds crazy, but you know, the black family was much more proficient, much more together, much more successful prior to civil rights and during the civil rights movement, man. It wasn't until drugs and gangster rap and hip hop was introduced in the black community until shit blew up from the fucking inside. Not to be a proponent of taking equality away. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the timeline of it all, bro. Right? So imagine if we could infuse what real black culture looks like into the black community. Now, motherfuckers wouldn't have shit to say about nothing when it comes to some black folks in society, bro. The victim mindset would be gone. The hood booger shit would be gone. Welfare would be gone. It'd be all just a meritocracy and survival of, I'm not gonna say survival, bro, but like, you know, top dog gets the job, right? Instead of coming up with all these fucking excuses and reasons why you can't do shit because the system holding you back, the man holding you back, where, you know, the man is the source of the fucking problem at the end of the day. But black folks could easily defeat it if they were able to. I ain't gonna say black folks. I need to distinguish what I'm talking about, bro. The sect of black folk that I'm referring to, the ones that get the fucking stigmas and the stereotypes and the bullshit attention on social media that make the whole black community look terrible. This is what I'm talking about. If they were given the ability to wake up, given the clarity of really what's going on and how they're literally being molded to work against themselves, bro, we could flip the whole narrative upside down and out here just be winning. But yeah, dope video, man. Fuck with it. Thoughts?